Welcome back to the channel. My name is Casey. I help young guys and young ladies navigate life, especially if they weren't raised by a dad. And I'm almost done with a book. And within that book, I have lots and lots of stories. And these are true stories. So I decided to put one of them, my first try, into a video and animate it. So let me know what you think. Word of caution is this isn't a Mr. Rogers kind of story. It has some curse words in it, and it has some shocking things that have happened, but I think it's entertaining. So let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks.
My girlfriend and I had just started to make out pretty heavily when a group of boys came up to ask me a question. "Do you know where such and such is?" the largest of them asked. He was rather tall, maybe 6 feet or so. I bet he was no older than 20 or so, with a large body, a little muscle with a belly, but not huge. This was the mid-90s, and I had taken her to Comanche Hill in San Antonio for our date. This is a large hill with an observation tower that looked like an old castle turret that the settlers would keep an eye out for Comanche Indians in the past. We had just settled down on the ground with a blanket. There were about 5 of them, and I told them I didn't know who they were looking for, but to get lost. I was busy with my girl. My girlfriend Barbara and I had been together for only a few months. She was a beautiful redhead, who some might consider a rich chick. She wasn't rich. Her aunt and uncle she was staying with in a suburb of San Antonio were. She had come down from Virginia to escape her parents and go to school. Her aunt and uncle lived in a rich part of town called Garden Ridge and set her up with a job at a fur store. Yes, I know, a fur store in Texas. How profitable could it have been? I didn't know much about her past, just that she was hot, and we had a lot of fun together. The boys came back after a while and asked, "Who the fuck are you?" I guess they felt disrespected when I told them to beat it. I answered stupidly, "My name," and then, "United States Marine. Who the fuck are you?" I was pretty irritated now because both she and I were fully naked. I had my pants down around my ankles with one boot on. She was trying to wrap herself up with the blanket. I was an easy target. The big boy who was speaking to me wore a La Raza ball cap. He punched me in the side of the head while I was still sitting down. I think I was in shock because I didn't do anything. I just sat there with a stupid, dazed, and confused look on my face. He hit me again. This time, I woke up and out of pure rage jumped up and went to town on those motherfuckers. I had taken line training in boot camp. That shit is for real. We practiced for hours in the sand, learning specific steps to kill your enemy. If bad guy grabs you, then step 1, step 2, and so on, until he's face first on the ground and you take your boot and stomp his head to death. Pretty serious stuff. No martial arts, no meditation, no rules, just killing the son of a bitch who attacked you. Where was I? Oh yeah, I jumped up and punched him like I was Ryu in Street Fighter. His buddy then tried to grab me. I twisted his arm with a wrist lock and broke his arm. That's when all of them jumped on top of me. We looked like a dust storm, wrestling, fighting, biting, and kicking, while we all fell down to the bottom of the hill. The dust settled, and they surrounded me in a half circle. My hands were raised like an old boxer, with my jeans trailing me, and all I had on was one boot. Butt naked and pissed, I glared at them, wanting some more when the leader, who now had a busted nose, screamed at me to leave and go take care of my woman. She had gotten dressed and ran down the hill after us. I didn't think twice about it and said nothing as I attended to her. I didn't want to take them on again. She cried that she had broken a nail. Here I was covered with some guy's blood and scratches all over my body. We walked back up the hill to get our things when I noticed that La Raza ball cap on the ground. I wore that bitch proudly around town, like a dumbass asking for trouble. There are some lessons in this story for sure, but it's still a cool story and one that counts when you are on your deathbed. I should have taken her to a hotel. That would have been a more adult thing to do and a lot cleaner. I should have been patient and been more aware of my surroundings. If I had just left with her in the first place after the boys first harassed me, then I would never have broken my wrist when we fell down the hill. I could have been more respectful to the leader and treated him like I would have wanted to be treated, and maybe he wouldn't have punched me in the head. Could have, should have, would have are things that I can't change about that night. I have some scars that I earned and will be with me for the rest of my life. I guess the lesson should be that you'll never be a skilled sailor without facing some storms. If you're going to fuck up, then at least have a cool story.